Hi, Murthy. Good evening, Murthy.
Hey, hi, good evening, Sri.
Okay, 1 minute. Let's ask us if you can also join. 1 minute. We'll start.
Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, Sudhir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, anyway, I'll just ping in the group. People may join. Okay, so we discussed about the fundamentals and a bit about the compute management. So, how Snowflake will manage the the cost, how virtual warehouse is important for managing the credits and all. But coming to pricing side, so most of the Snowflake projects will have the pricing in different ways. Hope you know about pricing. So let me give a high level overview on pricing also. What type of pricing are Snowflake is going to charge the customer? And earlier it was only storage cost, data transfer cost, and also compute cost. And this will be visible in the interface. And now we have additionally different costs available. Cloud services cost will be added to your billing on a monthly basis. That will not be anyway transparent. But apart from that, we have other types of costs also available. Not like these three. Let us try to discuss about that as well. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know you are able to see. Hope you are able to see my screen.
Not yet. Yes, now we are good.
Yeah. So when I say Snowflake, already like Snowflake will charge in the form of credits, where you usually receive a $400 free credit also. But this particular credits will be consumed only if the warehouse is running, plus any query is going to getting executed under that particular warehouse, so that the resources will be allotted to that query, and where warehouse will be active. So whichever the warehouse you are currently pointing to, that warehouse is responsible for providing the resources based on the number of clusters available in that particular warehouse. And every warehouse, based on the warehouse size, your query will be executed, and that query execution speed will depend upon the warehouse size also sometimes. And majorly like cloud services layer is responsible for some of the other type of features which will involve the credit consumption also. Apart from storage cost, compute cost, and data transfer cost, we also have some additional serverless features are there which will be chargeable by Snowflake. So let us discuss about few of them. So coming to like serverless features. So Snowflake has some serverless features. Additionally, the serverless features also will be charged if you are using them. So if you go and see like Snowpipe, so you might have heard about Snowpipe, right? So Snowpipe is basically continuous data loading, correct, right? Hope you people already using that. The
Yes,
Snowpipe.
yes.
So
Yes, yes.
Snowpipe, yeah, Snowpipe when you are using that also will involve some of the SQL statements will be executed and because when you are ingesting the data, loading the data, it requires some resources. So this is also one of the serverless features. So if you are using this particular feature, you are chargeable. And database replication, when you are performing a database replication, cross-chain replication, that also will involve the consumption of resources and credits will be consumed. So you need to ready for the cost for that particular resources and maintaining the material views. So you might have used material views also. A material view is basically a view that will store data as well as query together. Since it involves results, it also will consume storage cost. Normal view may not be applicable for storage cost because normal view, non-metal view will not hold any data. So it will only will involve compute cost when you select the data from that view. But in case of metal view, it will involve both compute as well as storage because storage is nothing but the results. So it will store the results as well. So to store the data, Snowflake need to maintain this meta views also. So where a background process will be executed and that will try to refresh the meta view and most of the data whatever it is getting stored that that maintenance also chargeable. So Snowflake will charge on that if you are using any meta views and automatic clustering. So any idea what is clustering? If I ask you, did you got a chance to use clustering in Snowflake by any chance?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why we
So,
need to go for clustering?
so, uh, so for example, right, it is like you can call it as indexing when compared with Oracle.
Uh-huh.
So to optimize the query and also, right, if we have a like huge like tables like ST whatever you shown like customer
Mm.
line with terabytes of data,
Mm-hmm.
when you're filtering on those tables, okay, so with the filter keys we create a cluster keys to get the data out of it very quickly to come the compute should be very quick, right? So at that point of time I think we'd be using the cluster keys
Correct. Agree.
and the yeah, so but now the automatic clustering has been depreciated, right? If manual clustering has been depreciated, correct?
Correct. Correct. So the reason behind the main objective for why we go for clustering is it will try to group the micro partitions. If you don't do the clustering, what happens? The Snowflake query plan it will generate. It has to do the full table scan. Correct, right?
Yeah, pruning will be too much. Yeah,
Pruning will be too much, and you need to see which partitions are actually applicable for my
maintain
requirement. So the
requirement.
column which you use in the where class, that column should have the right cluster key. So choosing the right column for the cluster key also important, right? So you cannot go and select blindly a particular column. You should have the knowledge of how to select the optimal cluster key also. So there is some criteria which we need to go and also follow to select a right cluster key in the where class. So here this automatic clustering is also like it has to store the cluster keys here. So it has to maintain them. how the meta use will be maintained. Similar to that, the cluster keys also should be maintained. So this particular cluster key are applicable to tables as well as meta use both. So any compute resources are leveraged in this particular process will be chargeable here. And the search optimization service. So you might have heard about search optimization service also. Did you get a chance to use that or no?
Yeah, we had, but we never used it.
Okay, but
Maybe
usually,
I never used it.
but usually that will not be available in standard and even enterprise also. For enterprise
Okay.
it's not so it will be available. In standard edition, it will not be available. You need to be with a minimum enterprise edition to use this particular search optimization service, where it will help you to speed up your queries when you are mainly using the lookup queries. So lookup tables and lookup queries in such scenarios, the table size is very huge. The search optimization service will help you to improve your query speed as well as it will I try to reduce your cost as well. So we need to go and use this particular service when you want to deal with this kind of data. So since it involves the query execution here also, you need to pay for this particular search optimization service also. We also have query acceleration service. There are so many features available. These five are very like popularly people use, and we have some other services also available which will be chargeable. So all these are like are additionally you need to use if at all you want to improve or optimize your environment. So any service which you are using here, your credits will be consumed and ultimately your cost also will be involved here. So these features, most of the people does not know that. They feel that only we have storage cost, data transfer cost, and compute cost. And that compute cost also people think that only with warehouses. When only when you use a warehouse and only when you run SQL queries. But most of the people does not have a clarity that then they don't have even a transparency on why the charges will be applicable, and suddenly they will get surprised when these charges also will be applied. And apart from these charges, additionally now Snowflake also added for machine learning some container services. For this kind of features also they added some charges. I'll explain about that. And the storage cost. So storage cost is basically like is one of the cost Snowflake will apply on the customer who are willing to store the data in their Snowflake environment. And apart from loading the data, and anyway, whenever you load the data into Snowflake environment, your tables will consume storage. So you should be ready for that particular cost. Apart from that, in which scenario we will use Snowflake environment? Apart from loading the data, there are some like occurrences where we use Snowflake environment for storage. In which scenario we use Snowflake environment to store the data? Any idea? In which scenario we will use Snowflake environment to store our data apart from normally how you load the data, where it will be stored? There are some scenarios or
So,
circumstances where we use to store the data in Snowflake environment. Any idea?
apart from our normal
Hmm.
data lake or this thing, right? I think
Hmm.
we used to store the archive data. Okay, so as the storage is very cheaper, right?
Uh-huh.
So the archive data, I think the enterprise archive data would be pushed to Snowflake
Uh-huh.
as it is cheaper, basically,
Okay.
one of the use cases.
Yeah, that is one scenario. The another scenario is when you don't have any cloud subscription, for example. Assume I don't have either S3 or block storage or Google Cloud Storage. I need to even load the data, right? Correct or not? Even
So
I don't have. Uh,
without having a cloud service for any company, for any
uh-huh,
enterprise, for
uh-huh,
example,
uh-huh.
uh, okay, so you want to store the data here, okay?
No. What I'm trying to say is without Azure intermediate storage, if the client came to you and asked you to load the data, correct, right? Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
happens. Not every client will have ready-made cloud storage, right? Correct or not? It may take
Correct.
some time to get the storage service. Assume that before that they ask you to load the data. Then you need to have a intermediate storage even that particular time also, correct or not? Assume you don't have cloud storage access. I'm just assume that. Yes, I don't have S3
Mhm.
access, I don't have GCP cloud access or Azure cloud access, anything. But still, the client asks you to load the data. In that scenario, we use internal stages, right?
Correct.
Yeah, what is the purpose of internal stage? We
It
will
is a
use,
managed service,
correct, correct. We will use as the intermediate storage only, right? We just to load the data
Mhm.
into internal stage. From the internal stage, we will copy the data into table, right? Is an
Correct.
alternative for external stages. No, see, external stages will come into picture only if you are having a cloud access, a storage access, all this stuff. If I don't have any cloud service access, storage access, I cannot even use internal external stages, right? Correct or not? Do you agree that?
Yeah, yeah.
So internal stages, for example, if you are willing to load the data from internal stages, you need to transfer or copy the data from your local to internal stage first. So whenever you are storing the data in internal stage, definitely Snowflake will charge you, right? They will not give us for free of cost. Correct or not? 1 terabyte data I'm loading into internal stage, definitely I need to pay for that, right?
Correct.
So that is one scenario I'm talking about. So when
Okay.
Snowflake will charge storage cost, then you need to think like, oh, this is where Snowflake will charge us. Internal stage is one scenario. For all your time travel and fail-safe data, also they will keep, right? They'll keep that data.
Correct.
So you also need to ready for that as well. Any database replication you performed, there also you'll have, right? Correct or not? Cross-region
Correct.
replication. So database failover, these kind of scenarios also will involve storage cost. So many people does not even know that Snowflake storage cost also will applicable for all these scenarios. We should know that. See, if you don't know what happens, you will not have a transparency and you cannot even justify to your management most of the times. So you don't even know how much amount of data or storage required also. So that calculation should be done and based on your requirement, you need to see there are two types of storage plans Snowflake is offering to the customer. First one is on demand, second one
Yes.
pre-purchased. These two are available. If at all you want to go and consider these two, you can consider anyone. The challenge with the on-demand pre-purchase is you need to pay a fixed cost. Even if either you consume or not, you have to pay. But coming to on-demand storage plan, you will have a choice of how much you are going to consume. You need to pay for only that. That is where the main difference will come into picture. So storage cost in general is not only applicable for what you are storing normally. There are so many other scenarios where you will have a storage cost applicable, which includes the storage cost. Okay. And apart from this, virtual warehouse cost, which we already discussed about, like compute cost, also called as virtual warehouse cost. This is applicable for every query that you are going to execute, which is a compute cost for queries that you are running because they need a group of resources, CPU, memory, temporary storage. Based on your warehouse size, your charges will be applicable, and the warehouse size will determine how fast your queries will execute and how much price for credit also. We know that this credit consumed per hour for X small like 1 hour, one credit, and small like 2 credits per hour like that. But the pricing will be according to the warehouse size. So that will how it will calculate. The warehouse size here is important only when they are running the two. So when they are, as you know, like only when the warehouse is in started state, then only your queries will be consumed. If it is automatically suspended or it is suspended mode, we don't even need to worry about whether my queries are consumed or not. And you need to keep monitoring these particular warehouses also. Actually, we discussed about resource monitors. For example, that resource monitor will help you to track your warehouse consumption as well. So based on the size, you also need to configure that particular threshold, and according to threshold, you need to suspend it if not required. That is about normally compute cost. So one more cost which usually Snowflake will charge is data transfer cost. See, data transfer cost is basically when you want to transfer the data from one region to another region or one cloud to another cloud. The cloud to cloud also you can do, but charges are high. Like for example, I want to transfer from AWS cloud to Azure cloud or Azure cloud to GCP. So the charges will be there, and cloud to cloud high charges, but region to region. Like for example, I want to transfer from Asia Pacific Singapore region to Asia Pacific Mumbai region. You will be having no charges at all because zero charges if it is same region. If my region is changed from Asia Pacific region to Europe region, I want to transfer from Asia Pacific Mumbai to Europe region London. So since the region got changed, your charges will be applicable. So the charges of data transfer cost will be applicable only for cloud to cloud, one different cloud, and then different region. And what we can go and transfer the external tables and external functions, so data lake export, many things you can go and transfer. And all these will be chargeable according to the cloud which you are using. So the cloud also is one of the criteria here. If you go and see this particular table, we have different like regions are there. AWS, still here AWS regions, and from here to here Azure, and these three what you see, these are the GCP. So if you observe here, same region, Snowflake is not even charging a single penny, like $0 only. Only if my region is changed here, then $20 if I am transferring from US East North Virginia. If I transfer from this region to, for example, maybe EU Frankfurt, then I will pay $20. When I transfer from Asia Pacific Sydney to other regions, is very costly. If you observe here, $140 you have to pay. This is if it is a different region. What if it is a different cloud? Then also very high. You can see here. I want to transfer from AWS US East region to Azure East region. I need to pay $90 per terabyte. This all charges are per terabyte. So even Azure to other clouds also a bit costlier also, you can see here. So if you observe here, $120 like that. And so GCP is too costly compared to Azure and AWS. You can see here same region no cost, but same region, a different region, same continent. Then the charges are different. Different continent, excluding the Oceania, the charges are different again. So different continents excluding, you have just different charges again. So you need to see, like if you are using GCP, you should be additionally, you should be very cautious because they are very costly. I know that GCP is very costly. I already experienced that. So for one of the project, so they're very costly. So we stopped that because see, we have to see, like we have to test it actually how GCP for POC. So for one project we tried, and we realized that uh, because even the GCP having very less regions also, if you see compared to AWS and Azure. So then we started using AWS, and for two, three projects, and for one project we are using Azure also to cross check how to undo compare that. So I hope you also. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, then it is a multi-cloud like Vinay.
That's what. See, based on the application, it will vary, right? Project to project. So few of the
Right.
projects are running on AWS, and one project which they started on Azure side. So we want to see like how Azure cloud, if it is, how it is going to perform also. So we are just testing that now. So these are all storage cost, sorry, data transfer cost. So we saw
So,
like.
based on the previous topic, so just one quick question, Srini.
Mm,
So, in your enterprise, you said you worked with a few accounts on AWS and few
mm,
accounts on
mm.
Azure, right?
Uh,
So,
uh,
normally it happens based on account to account. For example, I have multi accounts in my in my org. Okay.
mhm.
So now you, as you said, right? So this can happen. So as you said, now
Hey,
few account.
yeah,
Uh,
see, then I go with a ORG admin and I'll manage that in general.
okay.
So multiple accounts definitely will be there. See, you go and see, it is not like only
No,
one
no.
account will be used, right? So there are multiple projects will be there. So every project will have their own budget, correct? No, it is very common. So
No.
Uh,
I am not talking about multi accounts. I am good at multi accounts. I understand that. But
okay.
my question is,
Uh,
uh, for few accounts they would be using Azure, and few accounts they are using on AWS.
correct.
Will this
Agree.
scenario happens basically?
No, it happens. It
It
happens.
happens. Okay.
Yeah, definitely happens because uh, that is sometimes that's what I'm saying. That is depending upon the requirement. It happens. There is no like project or company, for example, enterprise. It will only uses AWS. So there are occasions like where people might have started with Azure directly. Some projects. So they cannot go and change immediately to the AWS, right? Correct or not? You have to see the scenarios where they are using Azure from the scratch and they might have started or migrated to Azure. Now they want to go and leverage Snowflake along with that. They have to use Snowflake's and Azure based accounts only. That's what usually happened. Not only here,
Mm.
even in some other projects which I saw,
Uh-huh.
they are also using different multi like different cloud accounts also. It happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll make a note because my assumption was
Mm.
if the enterprise has a strategy to use AWS, so
Mm-hmm.
they would be using for the all the accounts as AWS.
No.
He, okay. Because in that case also I have seen a replication where they replicate into different region within the AWS,
Correct.
not outside the cross vendor, cross
Correct.
region, cross
Correct.
cloud. Okay.
Agree.
So, okay, so that's what I was now, as you said, maybe I will make a note for my understanding also. There we can have a multi accounts where they can leverage multi clouds also
Correct. It
based
happens.
on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It happens because see the only thing is everybody may not be comfortable with AWS also, right? If you come and see in Europe side in general, the
Uh-huh.
Europe side, most of the Europe companies use Azure, not AWS.
Okay.
Occasionally, you'll see AWS here. How in US you go and see majority use
Mm.
AWS. Now they are moving to Azure also. Some companies, if they are
Mm-hmm.
moving to Azure, means definitely they need to do some kind of data transfer from AWS to Azure, right? Correct or not?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So they need to do a cloud to cloud transfer also. So in such scenarios, their charges will be a little bit different, no? According to this sheet and table. They
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
go with this
understand.
option, correct, no? Not
Yeah,
this
one
option.
thing is also
Hmm.
maybe we can say as a regulation. Maybe I'm thinking in the interview perspective, how we need to explain this.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, correct. You can.
Yeah.
Now, this
Yeah.
is about
Please continue.
data transfer, correct, right? Data transfer cost. I hope you got it. What is data transfer cost and what is the storage cost and what is the compute cost. And we also have a cloud services cost, which will be applicable to every user. This cloud services cost is basically will not be visible in to us in the interface. We will see only compute cost, storage cost, and data transfer cost only. The cloud services cost will be automatically calculated by Snowflake based on your consumption of the resources. So the resources may be consumed according to your query like execution, and sometimes Snowflake also will provide additional resources. So that particular like cost will be incrementally will be applicable to your billing, and that will be visible only in the monthly billing where you are going to see that. But if at all you want to calculate cloud services cost, we have an option. We can go and calculate that. I will share you some queries on that. Okay, how to calculate that. And this is about uh, how usually like the pricing will happen. I'll share this PPT anyway. You can also just go through it and you can just try to see how can we go and see this quiz also. Okay. Now,
Okay.
this is about pricing at normally people know. There are some other types of costs also available. If you go and see, let me try to explain you. So now after this recent submit after 2024, right? Snowflake started some of the different other types of cost also. In general, this is the normal like a pricing plans. If you see for the standard edition, it is $2 per credit, and for enterprise, $3 per credit, and for business critical, $4 per credit USD dollars. But virtual private Snowflake will not be visible anything. You need to reach out Snowflake team only because that is not even transparent to us. The Snowflake team will need to guide you on that. if at all you want to go with this edition, you don't know like what is the pricing and all, you need to reach out them and they will try to guide you like how to go and create this account and what is the pricing plan, all this stuff. And standard edition, which we know already, $2 per credit, and also it is already it will provide 1 day time travel. That is the restriction. I hope you know that. And you have a complete SQL data warehouse access, and secure data sharing will be there, and you have a premier support of 24 by 7. But you will not get access to multi-cluster warehouses in this, and you also will not have access to create material use also. These things you know, right? For standard edition, the restrictions are there. For the first edition, only single cluster warehouses I can create, and 1 day time travel only I can go and experience, and secure data sharing will be there across the regions, and it will allow you to manage your SQL data warehouse. And that is about normal standard edition. If you go to enterprise edition, you have some additional features. So remaining all these are very common to standard also, the encryption, and also like dedicated virtual warehouses, and federal authentication like SSO integration, and also OAuth for authorizing the account access, multi-factor authentication, all will be available in this standardization also. The only thing that you not find is like multi-cluster warehouses, and time travel also restricted for 1 day, and there are some other features available. We'll see that apart from this. So all these are very common. So most of the enterprise will have, and here also will have all this stuff. And enterprise edition, if you see, most of the credits will be $3 per credit which they are charging. And apart from this, we also have like multi-cluster warehouses. That's what I was telling. So if at all I want to create multi-cluster warehouses, I need to start with enterprise only. And you will experience 90 days time travel from enterprise edition onwards. For enterprise edition, business critical edition, and virtual private edition, all these will have a 90 days of time travel. So your data will be available up to 90 days under your control also. You can go and restore that. Only after 90 days only, you need to go to the failsafe period and reach out the Snowflake team to restore your data. Or else up to 90 days, you can retrieve your data on your own. And annual rekeying will be there for all encrypted data, and column level security. Yeah, data masking. So data masking, like column level masking for tables and views. So I hope you know what is data masking, right? Dynamic data masking. So whenever you want to mask or secure your data at column level and row level, we will use this data masking policies. And where a data masking policy will be created once and can be applied to thousands of columns in the database. For every column, I can create one masking policy and one single masking policy, and I can apply to multiple columns, email columns, for example. I may have multiple email columns, more than 10 email columns. I can create single masking policy and I can apply to all these columns. So row level security is nothing but how you are restricting the data at row level. For example, I want to only restrict the HR department only to see the data they are authorized. Maybe the HR department should see only the HR because the HR department may be sitting in India. So I want them to see only data related to India location. I don't want them to see any data related to other locations. So like that, we can go, and country level masking can be done using row level security, or city level masking, or department level masking I can do. So these kind of scenarios, row level security will be very, very helpful. And apart from this, the aggregation policies are there where you can go and enforce the privacy of your aggregated queries, and when you are retaining the data, and protection policies, all these are available from the enterprise level edition onwards only. But we'll discuss about all this once you go to the data governance and all. And object tagging. Did any time use object tagging by any chance? Similar to data masking in columnar security, we have object tagging also. So this is fall under data governance. And this is also important to manage your sensitive data, sensitive columns like SSN and other columns. So object tagging also is one of the important feature for business critical edition kind of uh, data. Like for example, banking specific data. If you go and see most of the banking or financial institutions, they are very particular about like data security. So we need to have the object tagging for sensitive data also. And access history and method reviews and all these are available. Yes, search optimization service also, as I mentioned, is available only from the enterprise edition onwards. We don't have search optimization service like for standard. And the dynamic data masking, which I was talking about, and the external data tokenization. So all these are basically how you protect your data. All these are available from the enterprise edition onwards. And the business critical is enterprise plus some additional features. And the enterprise is standard plus some additional features. I hope you understood already. Each edition will have some additional features plus the previous edition, like followed by. And the business critical edition is basically very uh, critical. I can say like sensitive data can be maintained here. So most of the banks will use this particular feature to secure their data, because most of the data is customer sensitive data and you need to manage that with security. So every bank usually will have a compliance team. This compliance team is responsible for how they are going to secure your data. So definitely they will advise to take business critical only, because you will have not only data level, you also will have some additional data protection and database failover, all these features also. But the number of like the price for each credit here vary. Here it will start from $4 US dollars per credit here if you use business critical. But for the enterprise you will have like not like $4, it is $3 like that. So it will be a little bit vary from edition to edition here. So business critical, you will have like the health insurance portability and accountability with respect to complaints. That's what I was telling. So complaints kind of like teams, they will definitely involve in this particular business critical edition in most of the financial institution banks. They will try to provide you what kind of columns you need to even mask and protect. Not see deciding the columns which are supposed to be protected is not our job. So the compliance team usually will decide that. You might have heard about compliance team, right? In every bank, you have a compliance team who will do auditing and all. Example. So not only bank, maybe in other companies also you will see that, but their job is to how to protect the data privacy and security. So this kind of data, if at all you want to maintain, so in the business critical edition, you can maintain that with these features. And compliance with health insurance portability and accountability, and health compliance with uh, payment card industry data security standards. So all these are like, as you mentioned, the compliance and regulations, you need to go and follow this. And apart from that, you also have additionally like database failover and failback for backup and disaster recovery. These features are also additionally available only in the business critical edition. You don't have these features in the enterprise edition also. So enterprise edition will not have any features related to database failover and also like failback and backup and disaster recovery. We have the data backup available with time travel there, but you don't have any like disaster recovery, all these kind of features. All
How
these
about the
are.
tri-secret? What is tri-secret?
So tri-secret is like how you secure the customer data with their managed keys. So customer
Okay.
can use their encrypted keys so that they can go and access their data with their own secured keys they can create, and only authorized people can access the data, not like everyone, because every customer data is sensitive, right? This is not like we can go and even for example when you are sharing a secure data sharing also, as I was telling yesterday, You can share the data, but when they are using this particular secure data sharing, they might be directly accessing some sensitive data also. Correct, right? In the scenarios, they should use this kind of their manager keys to go and see the data encryption, and that I'll show when you go to the
Oh,
security.
okay.
Okay,
Security.
whatever
Okay.
security. So whenever you go to security, we'll discuss all this, whatever the security related features and all. And database failover. So database failover and failback, this is also is one of the very important feature for administrators when they are dealing with business continuity and all. Suddenly something goes wrong, and you should be ready for the recovery also, right? So these features are not available if you are using enterprise edition or standard edition. These are only available for business from the business critical edition only. So if a company, when they are very particular about data and their applications, you should definitely go with this business critical only, because you will get all these features, the database data protection and database failover, and all these will be available only from the business critical edition only, because you cannot go and use enterprise and apply all these features. Okay, even if you want to apply, the Snowflake team will suggest you to upgrade your account or to this particular business critical only. And all these features, whatever you see, all will be available in the business critical. But virtual private edition, this is basically the edition which is dedicated edition. So if all I want to go and use the virtual private edition, you definitely, you cannot go and directly create on your own. You need to reach out the Snowflake team, and they will guide you on the what are the different features they are providing, and they may also offer you something additionally, but that depends upon the requirement of the user. And you will have a customer dedicated virtual servers wherever the encryption key is in the memory, and all these are dedicated servers. So you normally in enterprise and business critical, you will share the servers with others, and here in virtual private edition, you will have a dedicated environment which will be only dedicated to you, and only your data will be available. And if at all you want to opt it, you can opt it, but the cost will be not like that much cheaper. It is very costly, and you need to go and get a permission from authorization from your team, and they should be ready for this addition. And they should have a transparency also how they are going to charge, and all this you need to cross check with the Snowflake team and get a quotation, and you need to go with it. You understood, right? You need to see how they are going to charge, see how they are going to charge and all, and you should get the quotation first. Then you need to review that, and you need to interact with your teams and decide that, because the budget will be a bit high. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, storage cost we discussed about what kind of storage cost, and how Snowflake is going to charge us, and for every data you are storing per terabyte, Snowflake is going to charge you as a storage cost, and any data you are storing in Snowflake is applicable for storage cost. And virtual warehouse cost, which we discussed about, this is a compute cost. So based on the virtual warehouse size, your cost will be vary, and according to the query complexity and the type of service you are using, your virtual warehouse size will be should be changed. And and once your compute or execution is completed, you can resize that if needed, and based on your choice. So warehouse or cost or compute cost is applicable for every query that you are going to execute in the Snowflake environment. Plus we also discussed about some of the serverless features, if you remember, like the Snowpipe and the search optimization service, query acceleration service, so and metallized reviews maintenance, and many different other features also will have compute cost involved. So you should be ready for all these service serverless features also. If at all you are using, you are ready for the compute cost for all these features. And this is what the credits how it will be consumed. And we have, yeah, this is standard warehouse, and we have Snowpark optimized warehouse. So the charges will vary. If you go and see, sometimes what happens if your query or your execution of your process will involve Snowpark optimization or Snowpark you are using API specific commands, then you will better to use Snowpark optimized warehouse, because this Snowpark optimized warehouse are designed for memory optimization. So we need to use this particular Snowpark optimized warehouses if your data volume is very high. So in the scenarios, your warehouse size will start with the minimum medium. You can see here. The normal warehouse contain X small, small and then medium, but Snowpark optimizer is by default starting with medium only here. So your credits also a little bit higher compared to normal medium. You can see the standard warehouse, the price for the medium is 4 credits per hour, but here 6 credits. For large also you can see the difference. It is increasing. 4 and 6, 8, 12 like that. And again 16 X large here and 24. So it keep on increasing, you can see. So based on your warehouse size here and the warehouse type, your charges will be different.
Can
So
we create that Snowpark optimized
ah,
warehouse manually? Okay.
yeah,
Yesterday, I think.
yeah. Let me show you once.
Okay.
So it can create, but what happens is
Oh,
it will start with medium only, because
medium only.
I will show you one Snowpark use case, right? That time the data loading, I'll show you how to migrate a DynamoDB table, for example, from a DynamoDB table to Snowflake. Then I will show you. Okay. In
Okay.
AWS we
So
have
in case,
DynamoDB. Yeah, table. Yeah,
okay,
good.
if you are using Snowpark, then only the suggestion to use
Correct.
the Snowpark
Correct.
warehouses. Okay.
Correct. Because your data volume also will matter here, right? So for example, if
Okay.
I'm dealing with high volume of data, and you definitely need to use a bigger warehouse. And also sometimes what happens, data migrations when you are performing, you do not even need, I told you, right? I do not even need a Snowpipe also when you are using Snowpark. I can directly migrate the data. Directly I can go and migrate from MySQL to Snowflake using Snowpark without using any integration, stage or file format or Snowpipe, anything. Because we are going to deal with the data frames there. First, we will push into a pandas data frame. From the pandas data frame, you will try to push into or create a Snowpark data frame. From the Snowpark data frame, you create a table in Snowflake, for example. So in that
Mhm.
scenario, you will not even go and use any of these particular features. All these will be eliminated. But you that can be achieved only if you are using Snowpark optimized warehouses, and if Snowpark optimized warehouses are designed specifically for Snowpark kind of operations. For example, let me show you. To go and see here in the warehouses, I can manually create it or through through command or through interface also. Okay.
Mhm.
So normally through command, right? Create warehouse names like that. But here through interface, here I can see, if you observe here, I'll give you like demo underscore, I'll say Snowpark optimized warehouse, something like that. Okay. Here, if you see, as of now, standard it is starting with small, right? Correct or not? You can see here, right? For standard, I have all these options starting from X small, small, medium, like that. Please observe the size when I change to Snowpark optimizer. This one Snowpark optimizer. Can you see?
Yes.
When I select this, see what will happen to the size. What happened? It directly went to medium. Did you observe that? Because we're starting with medium only in general. Even if you want to go and default, I'm talking about. If at all I want to go with Snowpark optimizer with small, I can do that. But by default, if you don't mention the size while creating the warehouse, it will start with medium. That too, for 4 credits per hour it is charging. Because
So
when
if I selected small, extra small, right, it will get overrated. Right? The default one will get defaulted.
Not like that.
Well,
It will start with X small also, but your execution will not be that much optimal, right? You will experience. See, it starts with X small only.
okay.
It will allow you, but the 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 the, the the operation what you are performing, your performance side, you will experience a delay. Not like how you go with the medium size, right? If your data volume is very high, you saw, right, how the query was running yesterday.
Correct.
When the size is increased, my query execution speed also will increase. Correct, right? Similar to that, my data volume is high and I want to go and use a normal warehouse, and you can even compare and see if I use a normal warehouse, how that particular query is executing, and any snowpark operations are involved, then only you deal with this. Because assume I want to run a snowpark particular operation through Python coding, but internally it uses this warehouse. For example, if I run some commands to snowpark, that will be visible here also. If you go to your monitoring query activity, you will see some of the operations which you did with snowpark. The driver will be there here. If you go to a driver, client driver, so for every Snowflake command, you will see the driver as go. You can see here. Correct, right? Whatever you see, all these are showing as go driver. Correct or not? If I run, ah,
Sorry, can you hold for 5 minutes? Seems like Sudhir got disconnected.
oh, is it? You can see from more people. Yes, Sudhir is there.
I just connected. I think there is a lag. Thanks.
Okay. So here, go driver you can see. Correct, right? For client driver. For any
Mhm.
command you run in Snowflake environment, it will go with go driver here. Any Snowpark specific commands you run, right? Your driver will change here. Even for Snowflake Python connector also, the driver will be Snowflake Python connector here. So which means that the operations which are running to Snowpark will use Snowpark API, and that driver will be utilized, and whenever it uses the driver, your execution will be different, not like normal Go driver. That's what the difference. The driver will change automatically. If at all I am running a Python specific command to manage or create any warehouse here, I can do that. So I can go and run a Python connector and run create warehouse name also. But the driver will be Python Snowflake connector. And how fast it is going to execute also you have to see. That you can see only if your data volume is a little bit higher, and you see like how much time it will take when you want to migrate a group of MySQL table to Snowflake. If I go with normal process, and you see the same with Snowpark also, then you will see the difference. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
So the difference you need to, what you want to see, you first need to test with normal process and then Snowpark process. Then you will see the difference.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what. So I will show you with Snowpark API also one data loading part. Then you will understand better. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you understood, right? What is Snowpark optimized warehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Now, so the warehouses which currently we are using, the Snowpark optimized warehouse will have a different charges compared to normal warehouse. That if you find, if you are using Snowpark optimized warehouse and suddenly if you see the increase in the credit consumption, then you need to compare. You need to compare and see why my credits are consuming more, because it may be because of optimized warehouse. If you are using that, because the people will be in assumption that suddenly if they use Snowpark optimized warehouse and it is going to increase the consumption, so they will say like why it got increased. That is because the charges are different, that you have to see. And we can say this is how that you can see go and the credit usage, how it is going to calculate per hour, per minute and per second also for every size. 1 hour 1 credit and 1 hour 2 credits. So how it is going to calculate for every size? You can see here x large how much, 2x large how much, and x small is this one, small is this one, and medium. So like that every size, and how it is going to calculate per hour, per minute, per second, you can calculate and see. So this is how it will be calculated. So Snowflake always charges the customer based on the usage per second. So you need to see per second how many credits are consumed. 60 credits or 20 credits, like that you need to see. And Snowflake serverless cost, which I was talking about. If you remember, we discussed about serverless features, right? Like copying the files and Snowpipe, search optimization service, metadata views, and Snowpipe streaming also available now, and every query acceleration service, and external tables, and external tables also the charges will be there, and logging and tracing like event tables. You might have heard about event tables, right? We have event tables now in Snowflake, dynamic tables, event tables, and also iceberg tables are there. So all these are new type of tables. So even for event tables we are using, the logging and tracing will happen. So you are chargeable for that. And we also have data metric functions. These are all new features, and all this will have the credits will be charged for under serverless cost. And you can see here the how it is going to charge for cluster tables, how it is going to go on charges, and copying the files. And you will see here this Snowflake manager compute for all this, but this is cloud services cost. You can see here. So cloud services cost is with the cloud services layer. I hope everybody know that there is a layer in Snowflake architecture called cloud services layer, right? So the cloud services layer, whichever the operations you perform, you need to go and ready for the cloud services cost also. So whichever you use maintenance also, you can see how it is going to charge, and query acceleration and database replication. So many different serverless features are there. Alerts also are there. You know what is the alert? Snowflake alert? We have an option to create a alert notification. I can create a Snowflake alert object, and I can configure a email notification also. Do you know that, everyone? There is an alert option is there.
I think, for example, if any process has been abandoned or aborted, right?
Exactly.
I think
Correct.
for
Correct.
success also, I
Alert.
think we used to get the
Correct.
next
We
one.
can configure. We can configure. We can customize that also.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, I want to monitor my warehouses and I want to see, and I can send a notification also, but I need to create a Snowflake alert for that. I'll discuss about that,
Mm.
okay? But just keep in mind that there is a alert object also available for email notification where you can configure. Even for that also, there is a charge, okay? And Snowpipe actually where people were using now, Snowpipe streaming also available for the streaming data. So for that also you have a charge. So all these are fall under cloud services cost, serverless cost. But all these cost will not be visible anywhere. It will be added to your monthly billing, and if at all you want to calculate, you can calculate that, and by using some metadata queries. And I'll share you some queries related to cloud services cost today. You can work on that. You can see that. Okay. And Snowpark container services cost. So this is also very new. So most of the people not even aware that if at all I want to create a container service, I can create in Snowflake now. You know what is a container? By any chance? Docker is a container service. Elastic Kubernetes and Elastic container service is available in AWS side. So this container service is going to create a package, a running application. So I can go and run that container, and I can run my application. I can start using it. So here Snowpark container service also very new, which is a fully managed service, but you need to pay for that if you want to use it. This will be basically used when you want to implement a DevOps CI/CD pipeline. I can also create a data ops pipeline using Snowflake now. Normally, DevOps tools people use to create a CI/CD pipeline, right? Correct or not? A Docker, they use Jenkins, some of the tools people use in the market. Now, this container service is available even in Snowflake. So for that, you need to pay if you want to use it. Hope that is clear, everyone. Understood?
Yeah,
But
maybe we'll go through.
yeah, but this will be only you can experience when you use it. It is not like we need to use it because if it involves any CI/CD pipeline to be created, and there are some integrated tools also available. Data ops tool is there, and we can use that. But Snowflake started a container service, so where they want to go and the customers to use this particular container service to create their own CI/CD pipeline inside Snowflake. If at all you want to use it, you can use them, but the charges will be like this. And the cloud services cost is basically which will be automatically applied for some of the operations which I mentioned already. So this cost will be like for warehouse, and where you are going to automatically if you scale up and scale down, for that you need to go and provide this particular cost and which is applicable. And the data transfer cost also we saw just now, and where you go and try to pay for what you are going to transfer the data, and it can be one region to another region, or it can be one cloud to another cloud. So the pricing also will vary. So the data transfer cost, whatever you are going to see, the list of table I shown, that may be a little bit vary now because the charges will be every time it will be changing, and you need to cross check the most recent charges will be the documentation. So this is what I saw the most recent one, and region to region, and cloud to cloud for AWS, and you can see here, and Azure. This document I will share you. You can just go through that, and you can compare with the PPT. So it will be a slight difference will be there because the charges will be like Snowflake will be changing for every release and all. Okay, and this is for GCP. So three regions, and this is the cost per region and per cloud. And yeah, this is also very new. AI services cost. So if you see in Snowflake, we have a new feature here. You observe here, this Snowflake AI service. Can you see this? This one. If at all you want to use this particular service, you need to pay for that also. Because this particular Snowflake AI ML Studio is basically will be helpful to create a plug and play service to create your ML models with low code. I can create a classification ML model directly from here. I can go and create a LLM model, large language model, directly from here for text data. I can build a application like ChatGPT also from here. So there are so many options available. I can create on my own by using Snowflake. But if at all I want to use this, I should be ready for the that AI service cost. Any service I can use here. Whatever you see, I can create an analytics model. Assume I want to go and identify suspicious transactions in money laundering. So I can store my data in the Snowflake tables, and I can use this anomaly detection model, and I can identify which are the suspicious transactions out of my data. I do not need to build any specific anomaly detection model to identify them. So directly I can pass the table to this particular model. This model will identify that outlier is nothing but suspicious transactions. So I can go and apply this anomaly detection model, and I can go and find out which are the anomalies. I want to go and classify some of the like uh, loan defaulters. Assume I'm working for a bank. I want to identify all the loan defaulters. Any new customer will come. Before approving the loan, I want to classify that customer whether he is a loan defaulter or not. Then I can pass all the input data to this classification model, and I can build a loan defaulter application also. So all this I can do, provided I should be ready for Snowflake AI services cost. You can see the Cortex LLM function, for example, this one. When I want to use it, I need to pay for this AI services cost. So all these costs are very new. You can see here, all these are like whenever that particular feature I'm using, I need to pay according to that. Snowflake Manager Compute. All these are different functions available. I want to build a sentiment analysis. You know what is sentiment analysis? In social media, applications will try to see whether a particular tweet is a positive tweet or negative tweet. I can classify it. To achieve that, I need to go and build a sentiment analysis model. So I can build that by integrating with this particular LLM model, but I need to pay for that. Okay. All this cost, whatever you see, as the administrator, I should know. If I don't know what happens, I cannot track them. Correct? Do you agree? If it is added to your monthly billing, and you should see why that cost is applicable. If someone came and asked you why this I got additional cost, even after using this AI service, some people will question you why I got this particular cost, means they might have used the service LLM option functions. When I'm using this LLM service, it clearly indicating that you need to pay AI services cost. And suddenly if you come and say like why I got this additional cost, then you should have a justification. So you should know if they are using this kind of service, they will be chargeable. So first of all, you should not give them access. First of all, if really they need that particular service action, then only you have to give them. If anybody who is working on the data science specifically, they use this kind of AI services or content services also, who are working on the CI/CD models. Only those people you need to provide the access with some authorization, or else they will start using it and you will have the billing. Hope you are clear. Okay. So all this cost you need to go and try to understand and optimizing the Snowflake cost. So when I say optimize Snowflake cost, there are different ways. And for every type of cost, you need to optimize. And how you going to optimize compute cost? There are so many ways. What you have to do when you want to reduce compute cost, there are some predefined steps you need to follow, like auto resume should be enabled, auto suspend should be configured. Also, additionally, what you have to do, caching is one feature which you need to use to reduce your compute cost. What are the different ways to one example to reduce the storage cost? Anyone? One example of where I can reduce the storage cost. In which feature I can reduce storage cost?
Basically, on the time travel, there is no for all the persistent tables, right? I think it is not required to keep 90
One
days
example, very good example.
based on
Agree.
the
Agree, totally agree. One example. So automatically Snowflake will store the data, and we do not even majorly need to worry about storage cost. And one more feature which where we can not worry about storage cost is zero copy cloning. Correct or not? Do you agree that? What happens in cloning? You will not have additional cost for your clone databases, right? Yes or no?
Right.
So storage cost I can reduce if I use and instead of creating a normal database, if you create a cloned database, you can reduce the storage cost also. So you should find out different ways. How can we go and optimize your Snowflake cost? That is also very important. And what are the different best practices I need to follow to reduce the cost? There are so many like best practices are there. I will try to share few best practices today, and which we can go and I'll keep on sharing some documentation. Try to understand them. And data spilling, for example, we discussed about data spilling also yesterday, and how to go and overcome that. So that will go and reduce your compute cost sometimes, and like based on your query like response time and volume of data, that also some of the criteria. So you need to focus on that. So I will share some of best practices, just refer them, and which you might have already used them, but some of them may be new to you, and you can just recollect if you know. If you don't know, you can just try to understand the things from your side. And I hope you got some idea about pricing, right? Yes or no, everyone?
Yeah.
So what are the different costs available? If I ask you, we'll summarize. The standard cost is which are available, you know. Correct, right? In general, what Snowflake will charge you. One is storage cost,
Storage, compute,
Storage,
compute,
compute,
data
cluster.
Data
transfer,
transfer,
data
and
data
transfer,
retention.
okay, we also have cloud services, correct, right?
cloud services,
And apart from that, additionally, you will have the
serverless features.
serverless features, correct? Serverless features which you will be chargeable, plus container cost, correct, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Snowflake
ESP,
containers,
ESC,
Yeah.
yeah.
correct.
Snowflake.
That is additional, and also you have, if at all you are using this particular AI services, that also one new cost which Snowflake is charging the customer. The the charge is like AI services cost. That also you have to remember this one. Totally seven types of cost Snowflake is charging the customer. People only know only four. Only four people know. There are three additional types of cost available which we need to also should have the knowledge. And this particular cost, whatever it is, you need to identify how to reduce every type of cost. And you should know what are the different possibilities and ways to reduce this particular cost. This is also important. Okay. Okay. So I want to discuss about today about the Snowflake cost and majorly and pricing and all. And I'll try to share some important and cost optimization like features and also some queries where you can go and monitor this particular cloud services cost and other types of cost, and you can just refer them. And in the next class, I'll try to show you some hands-on with all this particular pricing, and you also will see some other features such as like roles in detail. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I, and I'll try to share some assignment, and which you can even work on that with respect to this particular cost, and where you can go and try to see how to calculate and some scenario based. Okay.
So, okay, so I have one quick question, Srini,
Hmm.
maybe out of this topic.
Yeah.
So,
Tell me.
maybe with your experience, are you creating any chargeback models into your organization?
Uh, charge back models.
Yeah. So, for example, right,
Hmm.
whenever then you are creating any warehouse or something, right, this will be charged to department, right, any department
Correct.
or whoever is it.
Correct.
So, how those as an admin, right? I think, do we need to take care, or how would it be happening?
So see as an admin, right? Your
Mhm.
responsibility, one of the responsibility is to how to optimize the warehouse consumption, right? So you
Okay.
are responsible for who are using that particular warehouses, and then how to restrict the warehouse access to from everyone. Correct, right? What usually we do, like we do monitor them regular basis, and we'll try to see who are leveraging and who are running some of the cost based queries majorly. That monitoring should happen, or else you cannot control, right? See, I may have given access to someone. It doesn't mean that I should leave it, no? As a admin, my responsibility is I need to have a control over what they are running also. Do you agree that? Correct or not?
Yeah, yeah.
Simply you cannot go and give them and ask them to run. They will run anything. See, they should, if they are not particular about how to use it, you need to educate also sometimes. It happens. If maybe people know the environment, they are very strong in that environment also. Sometimes what happens, some of the best practices need to be followed. Correct, right? Without, if you don't follow the best practices, what happens? Simply running a query may go for a full table scan and it may consume so many credits. No, while they are creating those particular queries and running, they need to follow some kind of best practices while running the queries. They should have that particular knowledge also, like application level, like how you do in normal databases, application level tuning. Correct or not? If they don't know that, definitely what happens, you will find so many long running queries and some bad queries. So because you don't have a control over that, so what you have to do, you need to monitor, keep a process to monitor them, and which warehouse is consuming and which query is running long, if there any data spilling happening. So you need to go and take a proactive action. No need to worry about the what queries that they're running also. I go and literally kill them because they need to come and ask us and inform us what type of queries they are running also, right? They cannot go and blindly run what they need. They should have a justification that why they are running, because as a administrator, I am responsible for the billing and all. They simply use them. But how I'm going to optimize the billing and how I'm going to use this cost optimization and all, I need to generate a report and I need to draft and I need to go and demonstrate to the management also. Sometimes it happens. And they will come and question you why this particular warehouse is taking this much cost. And you need to have justification why that is taking too much cost and what type of applications they are running and what type of queries they are running. And you also need to have a like a justification and crystal clear table. If you have a table, that will make your life easier always. Clear?
Clear.
So always as administrator, you should be a proactive administrator only, because you may be sometimes reactive, but be a proactive. As how you do in normal Oracle or other databases, here also you need to be proactive only, because you cannot control the people what they are doing. I can monitor, but what they are doing in their account, that you have to control from your side also. That's what I do in general. That's why I create interfaces. I cannot go and monitor everything in single interface, right? Correct or not? I should have my own interface so that I can go and customize that, and I can also go and try to stop the queries if needed, and I need to provide the necessary access only if they are doing the following best practices also. So others we need to keep on educating them, and that is not every time will be the right approach, right? If you keep on educating them throughout the project, who will do our work? Correct?
Mhm. So,
Mm,
yeah, uh, on the same topic, so as
mm,
you said,
mm.
you will be killing the queries, right? Whenever some you see the notice something. So
Correct.
normally we have some timeout parameter, right? Where if the query is running for a long time, it will
Yeah,
get auto suspended, right?
correct. We'll do
So
that.
other than that, you have one more command where you can. Other than that, you have any other option where you use to kill the queries
We can directly cancel the query also. We have a new
as an
function.
event.
We have a new function, cancel function is there.
Yeah, system cancel
Correct,
all
correct,
queries on warehouse. Right?
correct.
Yeah, yeah. Other
Yeah, yeah,
than that, only these two options, right? Okay,
correct, 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 correct. I will show
okay,
you. I'll show you how to
okay.
use the cancel the queries using that particular function also. Okay. But in general, that is the best option today, because I cannot go and cancel every query separately. No, that's what usually I do. If it is, I'll collect the query IDs and I try to do that. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay then. We'll try
Actually,
to.
quick
Sorry,
question.
Murthy, tell me.
So
Sorry.
you said like, I mean, we have you as an admin, we have to monitor all the things, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
you
mm,
write jobs and all,
mm,
so that you can monitor. So
mm,
these jobs are actually serverless and uh, like uh,
mm.
they incur cost,
Definitely right. See, when you are monitoring means you run some kind of queries, correct?
right?
Or you do some kind of like, for example, I may use snowpark specific commands also. Internally, snowpark commands or snowflake commands, sorry, snowflake Python connector commands also. Those commands will be converted into snowflake SQL commands only internally, and they will execute on the warehouse.
Mhm.
So internally, at the end of day, whatever you run, that will be involve some compute. So cost is involved, but it will make your life easier, so that you do not need to go independently check all these things. Simple.
So those are commanders, what
Hmm.
cloud service cost, or like, I mean, they
It
can
is
segregate into like compute
it's
cost and
segregated.
all.
It is segregated, right, Murthy? Because if I am using Snowpark Optimizer warehouse, so that
Hmm.
is compute cycle comma. So
Okay.
sometimes if you run any commands which are like, for example, I may create cluster keys. So cluster keys again, that will fall under compute cost only, right? Or serverless cost, I mean, sorry. So that
Yeah.
depends. So if you are doing some kind of like automatic clustering, these kind of features will come under serverless cost. But
Okay.
any cost, sometimes what happens, the cloud services cost, Based on your warehouse consumption, Snowflake also will allot some kind of like resources. Those kind of things not under our control, but whatever you do under Snowpark or Snowflake Python connector, they all will be a combination, not like only compute cost.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share some documentation, whatever we
Mhm.
discussed today. Not only this, I have a segregated document for storage cost, compute cost, and data transfer cost. Separate documents are there. I'll share you. Please try to go through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also I'll share some assignments. Please try to work on that for this week.
Good. Yeah, yeah. Will work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, team. Thank you so much for joining today. And I
Thank
can
you.
see Arun, and who is that other person?
Virendra.
Virendra. Hey, Virendra, how are you? Sorry, I
I'm good.
didn't realize that. Yeah, good, good, man. So you understood, right, Viru? What
Yeah,
we
I,
discussed
I
today? Okay,
yes.
then. Okay, Virendra, I'll talk to you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you all.
yeah. Thank you.